The year was when the king of rock and roll was dead, celebrated a jubilee and a wave exploded onto the pop charts. So probably not the best time to release an adventurous double album of orchestrated rock, but then the Electric Light Orchestra, fronted by Jeff Lynne, were never followers of the fad. The group began when in 1970 Lynne was playing with the successful 60s band The Move, and armed with the desire to make their own brand of rock music with a classical sound, ELO was born. Out of the Blue it came in this gorgeous gatefold sleeve covered in spaceship. It's now considered to be one of the landmark albums of the 70s, and it stayed in the UK charts for a staggering 108 weeks. Sun is shining in the sky. The record's highlight was the Concerto for a Rainy Day, which took up the whole of side 3. And its finale was to become their most recognised song ever, and my favourite, Mr. Blue Sky. It's a beautiful day. Hey. How on earth did you write this genius song?
The record company wanted me to do a double album, which was to become Out of the Blue. I went to Switzerland and got this little chalet tucked out the way in the middle of nowhere, so I'd have no distractions. So the first 2 weeks I was there, it was really miserable, drizzling and cloudy and not very nice at all. Couldn't come up with anything. But one day I got up, opened the curtains, and wow, this is where I am. And it was beautiful, and there was vistas of wonderful green mountains going away in the distance, blue sky. And it was absolutely fabulous, the sun was shining. And it inspired me to come up with, right away, I wrote Mr. Blue Sky.
And did you do it in just one big creative burst there and then?
No, I wish I could say yes, but I didn't. I came up with the verse. I'll try and remember it now. Very good about the chord sequence. Obviously, I hadn't finished the tune yet. Mr. Blue Sky, please tell us why you had to hide away for so long.
Although Mr. Blue Sky is probably the most recognised ELO song, it actually wasn't their most successful, only reaching number 35 in the US charts and number 6 over here. But those chart positions haven't hindered its popularity. It's also become a major hit in social media channels on the net and one of the most covered songs by Joe Public. And if you don't believe me, take a look.
Mr. Blue Sky,
tell us why you
had to hide away for so long. Where did we go wrong?
More recently, it also reached a whole new world audience as it was featured as one of the highlights of this year's London 2012 Olympic ceremony. And there's a lot of elements to the song. Do you have a favourite bit to it?
Have you ever heard of Sparky's Magic? It's an old thing that used to be on long wave. It's like a kid getting a piano lesson, and it's a record.
I'm sitting on a piano stool. What do I do now?
Run your hands over my keys.
He falls asleep and he dreams that his piano can speak, and it was a vocoder that did it. Mr. Blue Sky. While I was making Mr. Blue Sky, somebody just made a brand new vocoder for the first time, and we got the prototype and we started messing with it all day. It sounded like it had asthma, you know, an electric voice, and it was magic, you know?
Go on, do it again for us.
OK. Mr. Blue Sky.
And can you just clarify that the very last bit of the vocoder, everybody thinks it's Mr. Blue Sky, but it's...
It actually says, please turn me over.
Please turn me over.
I know, because it was the end of that side of the album.
Yeah. But no one ever did, they just pressed repeat.
And Jeff is here.
They love you. So like Andrew then revisiting Jesus Christ Superstar, you revisited some old ELO work then and recorded them all again for a brand new album. So why did you choose to do that then?
Well, because every time I hear one on the radio of the old ones, I always go, that doesn't sound right. I thought it was better than that. And so what I did was I attempted to do Mr. Blue Sky again, just to make it a little bit more punchy and have more clarity. And I'm a much better producer than I was because I've had 30 years more experience than I had then. So it was like I just had to do it. I was compelled to do it, you know. And I played it to my manager, Craig, and he said, "Oh, it sounds much better, you know." And so do another one, see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And I did Evil Woman, and that sounded way better, punchier. Because, you know, it's in my own studio now, so I have total control, which is something I like, and total separation, so I can record it. I play all instruments myself, which I love to do.
It's just incredible. How many, and the range as well. It's not just kind of strings. I mean, you do the drums, your guitars, the whole...
Drums, bass, guitar, piano, guitar, and backing vocals, and all that stuff. But that's all the most fun you can ever have for me, because I just love being in the studio doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned the word control there. I mean, in this brilliant documentary that's going out on Jeff Lynne Night on BBC 4, lots of people say you're a bit of a control freak there. Do you see that in yourself?
I am, musically, I'm a control freak in the studio, but not in real life. You know, I'm very easygoing, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Can you relate to that, Andrew, at all?
Well, you see, funny enough, because I'm really a composer, not really a performer, I didn't want to change Superstar at all, because in the actual orchestrations and the original way that it was played, I wanted to reproduce that exactly. Although the production's different, I didn't really want to do that. But I completely understand it. You're coming from a completely different way than I do. I mean, I just thought, that's a piece I wrote when I was 21 years old. I want to leave it as it was when I was 21 years old, which is a different thing.
But all I'm changing is the technical aspect of it, really. The facilities like you've got now, for instance, 30 years on, 35 years on from that one, or 34, is another great big advantage for me as a record producer. You know, because I produced all the ELO records anyway, the old ones, and now the new versions. But, you know, and I wrote them all. So I've got the sort of... I really want to...
Yeah. Well, let's remind ourselves of some ELO classics.
So, Jeff, that's all on the very best of ELO, but we've got another album out as well, haven't you? Long Wave.
Do have another album out called Long Wave, and I'm more proud of this album than anything I've ever done in my life.
Why is that? Because they're kind of covers, aren't they?
Because they're not really covers. I've sort of done my own versions of these great songs, like If I Loved You and Bewitched, Bothered and Bewildered. All these beautiful old songs that I used to hear when I was a kid, you know, before I everything. Never knew how they went. So, and I don't read music, so I had to really delve in and dig deep. And
you don't read music, you play it all.
Yeah, I don't know. You just play by ear. You know, it's much easier than reading music. I'll tell you that.
Oh God! There's a great bit in the documentary actually where you say, you know, there's all these little gaps where you can put your own little naughty bits in.
That's it.
It's so good.
Let's have a listen then to Mercy Mercy.
Okay.
Well, I said, have mercy.